Biddy. That's all, folks. That's it. We're done. That's all she wrote. Well, we'll talk about that and anything else you want to talk about in this not so fun Sunday evening. Obviously, Inter Miami's bounced from the playoffs. We got a lot to talk about as far as, failures, where to blame, all kinds of just exciting, fun topics to talk about tonight. But I'm not going to do this misery all by myself. I'm going to share the misery with everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Ed. How you doing, Ed?
Oh, Peter Brown, man, talk about depression. You do. I got to say, the only bright spot of doing this show is you doing the Porky Pig, man. That was some rendition that, that was good.
That's not a
There
very
you
good
go.
impression, but, what have you.
But yeah, man. Oh man, we've got quite a bit to talk about. We were there at the stadium. Be in the lookout for the game day vlog. We saw all the goals that didn't go in, all the disallowed goal, the penalties and stuff that should have been called for handballs. I mean, nobody could say that the referee was in favor of Inter Miami all the time, because he wasn't.
Well, that's the funny thing is everybody on that's not an Inter Miami fan, all the Twitterverse, always saying that, of course we're going to make it to the finals. It's written in, it's written, so it shall be said. The referees are bought and paid. Don Garber's bought and paid. It's going to happen. Well, this just shows that none of that is true. Nothing is bought. Nothing is paid, other than Messi's contract is paid. And as we kind of mentioned in the thumbnail and the title, seemed like some of the people there might have already been on vacation. So, and we kept saying that a little bit as we were watching. But we'll get into all that and more in just a few minutes. First, let's start off with our thanks to our sponsors, starting off with Caneswear. Caneswear is where you can get all your Messi merchandise, the messiest wall in all of South Florida. They still have the best deals in South Florida right now, even though the season's over. Go get yourself a Messi shirt. A lot of you guys still love Messi. So go get that. Caneswear.com. If it's too far for you to drive, they're located in Davie, Florida, just south of 595 on University Drive. Caneswear.com. All orders over $99 ship for free. So go support them. And
Peter Brown, you got to go. If you got to do an investment here in South Florida, you guys got to contact Mia Rodrigues. She's the goat of all realtors in South Florida. Guys, you can even reach her on WhatsApp, send her a message, let her know you need a house, or if you want to sell your house, she's the one to talk to. She speaks 3 languages. There's no way you can't communicate with her. There's no way she can't seal that deal. And she's even famous. She comes out on TV, Peter Brown, as you know.
yeah.
Comes out on TV, and you guys could also appear on TV and her show, The American Dream. If you want to sell your business or your home, she's the one to do it. So contact Mia Rodrigues, guys, the goat of all realtors in South Florida. There you go.
All right. And as always, you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 786-474-4435. We've already got a few in the queue. So if you want to jump in and add your 2 cents, I know that the tone of this show is going to be negative. I already know it. That's why we kind of started the way I did. But I have a hard time being a negative person. I have a hard time wallowing in the sorrow of negativity. I'm just not wired that way. I don't take wins that, I don't go too high on wins or that low on losses and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, I look at it like I had fun this year. I had fun going to the stadium, hanging out with my friends, and enjoyed my time going to the games. Would it have been more fun had we continued? Of course. But I had fun. And at the end of the day, sports, for me at least, are supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a relief from your everyday life, from work, and all those kind of things. So I say, regardless, it was an enjoyable year. We won a trophy. they had their sights on 4. Obviously, that was a little, wishful thinking. But, I have a hard time just wallowing in the sorrow and all that kind of stuff. I just, it's not
And they won the hardest one and the one with probably the least prestige.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. That's an argument. Should that one get you a star? Like something? It should get you something, right?
Anyways, the supporter shield. It got us a supporter shield. We got to hold it, Peter.
Yeah, we got to hold the shield. Yeah, it's cool.
So,
it's heavy.
It's
all right, let's say hi to a few folks in the chat. We'll lean on you guys a lot, and we're going to also play those voicemails a little bit early because we got a bunch, and I got a feeling they're going to, have a lot to say. Starting off, first person I see in the chat. Oh, yeah, Mr. Krabs. Hear me out. What if Inter Miami this offseason goes out and buys some competent defenders? Kata is here as well. We can come back to some of your comments. Samir is here as well. We'll come back to some of your comments. Baldwin is here. Talking the other kind of football, NFL. Chris Arjun, everybody's favorite photographer. Jose Velasquez is here. He feels like Inter Miami got robbed. I don't know how you feel that. They didn't play well enough. Richard Greenberg, what an awful way to end the season.
Agree.
Sports Shorts, huge failure.
Mm-hmm.
Louis Rodriguez is here. A new Weissman, try not to gloat too much.
Yeah, he's
try not to gloat too much. Esteban Dito, we got to hang out with Mr. Esteban Dito last night.
Good to see him last night, and everybody else should also come up to us and say hello if you see us out there. We'd love to talk to you guys.
Don Bear is here. Tata out. You're going to see a lot of that, I think. I think that's a theme tonight. Davey95. How do you build a super team and lose in round 1? Good question. Who else is in here that I haven't shouted out? B King. Wonder how the owners feel about potentially losing 3 more home games in revenue. Exactly. Julio Enriquez. Welcome. And here we go. Tio Lewis. And Eric Thomas from New Jersey. Worst loss in MLS history. Biggest upset for sure. Biggest upset, I think, in MLS history. I think that's fair. Oliver M. Sport fun, price for season tickets playing like this, no fun. So, I mean, that's based off the comment that I made, obviously. And you just got to, of course, the amount of money you pay, you want to win, but they're going to make their money. I mean, you want to go, you got to pay. I don't know. Mike V, consistent as always. Tata out. Follow up to his comment. Worst coach in the world, literally. All right, and
not very, what's it called? Aggressive. That's for sure.
Yeah. Last one I'm going to shout out here is Sergio. Maybe we can make history with some kits that actually look nice next year. Woo! Well, we're getting 2 new ones next year, so there's that. But anyways, Ed, when we were watching live, everybody watching on TV, you see things a little bit differently. Like there was a shove that happened with, that we didn't really see live. We were too busy, yelling or screaming or something like that.
Yeah, celebrating.
Yeah, and so
I did get to see it, Peter. Did you see it again?
No, I didn't rewatch it. I have other things going on today, Ed.
You sure do, Peter Brown. You sure do.
Hey, at some point, just FYI, I don't want to give too much. It's gross. But I may have to run at any minute. I am on some medication that makes you clean out the pipes because I'm having a colonoscopy tomorrow. So fun topic. And
it's funny because we were giving each other, because we're all in our 50s now.
My wife was cracking up about our tailgate conversation.
Oh, yeah, that was the tailgate conversation, guys. Imagine that, talking about colonoscopies. Because I got one coming up, too. And Julio, who's our senior,
He's already done it.
He's already done it, so he's giving us pointers and stuff like that. So we're definitely the old farts, definitely
Yeah.
OGs.
Your tailgate talk, shoving cameras up
And
your.
it's already starting. Kata started say in Spanish, Peter. So you, oh my God, yeah,
There
there's
you-
going to be a lot of talk.
Yeah, I knew.
Crap
I
talk.
knew if we mentioned it, it was going to open it up to make the conversation. Hey, at least it'll make it more fun. It's not Tata's fault that defense played like
Crap.
what's coming out of me.
Yeah. So yeah.
And the thing is, it tells me to take the medicine at a certain time, and then it says it takes about 2 hours for it to work. That's right now. The 2 hours are now.
So you guys might be stuck with me talking for
It's
for a
possible.
little bit.
So
you can leave us with somebody's phone call or something if that happens. If you jump straight to that, I know what's happening, Peter.
Well, phone calls aren't that long, so that won't be
Peter,
it.
he should have done it just from the bathroom, the show. I mean,
I got this set up. I can't. It's not mobile.
Well, that would have been more comfortable for him. Just saying.
Yeah, here, Richard Greenberg. This is what I've heard. This is the good news. This is what I want to hear. I've had 3 colonoscopies. A prep is the worst part. That's what it. Well, everybody always told me drinking the solution is the worst part, and it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. But it was bad. So, anyways, the star of this game, though, of this tournament, you thought it would be Messi, but it was Brad Guzan. Over and over again, I heard you say, I hate Guzan. Now, if he was on your team, you would feel differently. 40 years old.
And he's still doing it. Talk about colonoscopies. That guy's going to need some pretty soon. He's almost there.
Yeah, he's almost there. But he was outstanding.
That guy was incredible. That's why we hate him, because he's so darn tootin' good. And he's basically the reason why they're still in there. He made so many blocks in the whole series, man. He's the reason why he kept the goals down. And once again, we saw that our defense royally sucks. We definitely need. I hear Neymar all the time that they're mentioning, but we really don't need Neymar. But if they do, it's because he's going to sell jerseys.
Well, I keep saying that it's a business, and defense doesn't sell tickets. I mean, it may help you win a championship, which can sell tickets, but it's just a different view. And I don't know if this ownership group has that view. I think they will improve the defense, but I don't think they're going to bring in any of these big name defenders that people might think. You're not going to get a designated player defender, I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't see that happening. I think you're getting another up and comer like Avilés. And you never know what you get. A lot of people want Avilés to go. And maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I think if you get rid of Avilés, for example, you're going to get another crapshoot like Avilés. It could be a great, might not be. I think a lot of that. But here's a comment that came in earlier that, I wanted to, and Samir wrote a lot, but I'm not going to put them all up because it's a lot. But just curious about what people think about this. Samir is saying, very disappointed. We, the Messi fans, didn't eat well, sleep well, because it's golden chance to win MLS Cup, but we miss. So I'm curious, for people like him in his avatars, is Messi and things like that. And he goes on, skipping down a little bit. And he says, we lose because Tata, goalkeeper, calendar, and a bundle of wood defender. I will tell you how. And he's going to go into details. But I think Messi has a lot to account for as well. He is to blame as well. And I'm curious if Samir is, blinders on with Messi, like he could do no wrong, or can you admit that he did not have his best game? I like what Franco Panizo, said on Twitter, my Inter Miami reporter. He basically said that for the first half, Messi was a passenger other than a couple of good passes or a couple of good plays. When you spend around $70 million on a player, more is expected from you. what we saw in the second half seemed like he cared a little bit more. He was a little more energetic and trying a little bit more, fired up, a little bit more. And, but we needed that the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's tough for Peter because it's just, it's heartbreaking for us. But, I'm seeing people are already starting to blame the forwards. You can blame Tata. I think, as always, he's not very aggressive. This is a game, and in the past games that we should have won. I even think the Atlanta game was winnable. Because he just isn't aggressive. He doesn't put in more forwards. I mean, we don't have a defense. Everybody knows that. Put in forwards for the love of God. Attack them. Make them. Destroy them in that sense. With our forwards, because that's all we got. But he doesn't even do that. So he's just too calculated. He's too not aggressive, and I just think. He's just. It might be time to find somebody else.
But do we think this ownership group will do that? I got a feeling, and reading another Athletic article where they talk about like Chris Henderson is still in question. Like there's like possibilities that he may not be back. There's a question mark there. So there's that, and then potentially there's also Tata. I don't know if they'll yeah, we could talk about that in a minute. I don't know if they'll pull the trigger on Tata so soon. What do you have there, Ed?
Well, Peter Brown, it's called Splendor. It's actually from Ecuador, apparently. And, they're the new sponsor of Inter Miami. So, pretty refreshing. It's one of the few things you can have, too, Peter. Water.
I can drink this right now.
It's actually pretty good. It's kind of... It supposedly comes from one of the volcanoes, Cotopaxi, in Ecuador. I don't know if you looked into that, but it's actually pretty refreshing. Disappointing for them it must be because they just started promoting, and the season's over.
Yeah, listen to how this is more fun to talk about than the game. Born from the natural aquifer in the rainforest in La Mancha, Ecuador, our volcanic water starts its journey as a snowfall atop one of the world's highest active volcanoes. I mean, we're drinking snowfall water.
Yeah, man.
Snowfall water.
That's it's pretty good. Man, it comes all the way from Ecuador.
You know what, Ed? You know what it tastes like? Water.
It tastes like water.
Doesn't taste like anything different. But the funny thing is, this is a new sponsor for the team, and we ended up walking out of there each with a case of this water. They were supposed to give out a bottle to everybody. They gave us each a case.
Well, I think what happened, Peter, is like everybody was leaving and nobody cared.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just like so disappointed that they were probably offering the water to the people, and they were just like, "Oh, it's just the water."
Yeah, we just lost. We don't care about the stupid water.
But not us. Peter Brown said, "Hey, can I take a case?" And they said, "Sure."
No, I think my wife did. My wife was up there like right off the bat, trying to get some water. But so some comments about I think some of what I said. Kata. Oh man! Here, Kata's saying about what I said about it being a crapshoot. Why crapshoot? Why buy a certified player, not a potential good player? And as far as defense, I would agree with you. I just don't think that's what they're going to do, because at the end of the day, it is a business, and you don't get these kind of sponsorships from defenders. And other comments going on. Jay Vasquez, having some issues with what I say, I guess. Crushing expectations doesn't sell tickets. Miami fans won't show up not winning, even for Messi. Miami has reputation. They can't win when it matters. All show no substance when it counts. I mean, you are true. Miami fans are front runners and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think what they're doing to some extent, and I don't want to pigeonhole them into saying this is the only thing they think about, but I think it's a big part, is building a brand. And yes, part of that brand is winning championships, but they did win a trophy. So they could look at that as, hey, we got that, check. But it's a business, and selling jerseys, getting another name like Neymar on the back sells a ton of jerseys, which then helps sell more water sponsorships, and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it is a business, and they want to win, and I know that, but I just don't know if they want to, where the business falls. I think it falls more on the business side. That's my argument, and I'm gonna feel that way till they prove me wrong, right? I
do want to tell you one thing. Marco also Donoso, who does a Spanish show with me, was saying, Peter was talking about how, relax, guys, we're in first place, and he's like, well, that didn't help. We didn't get to the final.
Well, there was never. I don't think I ever said we were guaranteed to win the cup, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna, relax. We won that. We're trying to, at that time when I was saying that, we were trying to win the Supporter Shield. We're trying to break a record. We did all those things, But I've always felt that the playoffs is a bit, going back to the common thread tonight, is a crapshoot. You look at the best teams in the East are all crashing out in the first round. Us, Cincinnati, Columbus, all of us are out.
The better teams. Yes.
It's a crapshoot, the playoffs. And, and I know Jordi Alba doesn't like the playoffs. He said something about that, saying that he thinks it should just be the top East team plays a top West team, and you get crowned a champion. Problem with that is also, and the reason we have 3 games in the round 1 is so that they could have more games for Apple TV. They needed more content for Apple TV. That's why they changed to that last year. So it's all about having more games. So having less games doesn't please Apple. They want more games. So that doesn't work either. I'm sorry, Jordy. Again, it goes back to business over your sporting needs. And
thanks a lot, Apple TV. Because of you, we already had Inter Miami advancing with the first game, but no, you wanted 2 more games. So there's your 2 games, and now you don't have Messi. How you like that?
So conversation in the chat. Tank, as always, is blaming Calendar. I don't think Calendar was bad.
No,
not this game at least. Saying he's not a leader in the back, and that may be true as far as. He didn't make any he didn't make any blunders this game. And at least not the way I saw it. No. But yeah, there could be something to that. He is. If you look at the way Guzan fires up his defense, organizes his defense, Calendar's not that. Now, granted, Guzman's played at the highest levels. World Cup, Aston Villa in England. He's done a lot more.
He's been around.
But. There's definitely a difference there that you could see. Abishik Jose, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, says 9.1 was Messi's rating for the last game, by the way. I don't know who rates him, but I'm just telling you from my eyes, and not just my eyes. Go the people that were in the stadium and in the game, I think felt the same way. You got to take your Messi blinders off. We all love him, and we're happy he's here. But I expect more from him. He is who he is. I expect more from him. And somebody made a comment that he can't necessarily dribble past 6 defenders. Well, he's got to make something happen. He has that responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. As someone wise in a superhero suit once said. Just lots of conversation. I'm so far behind on the conversation because there's a lot on here.
Yeah, there's huge conversation going on in the chat room.
Yeah,
I can't keep up, but
I can't keep up. But Francisco Garcia is saying that Tata is responsible, but all the players are to blame. Tata changed the formation of the back. You put 4 in the back instead of the 3/5 in the back that we've been playing. I prefer a 4 in the back, but I mean, if the 3 has been what's been working for us, you just got to stick with that. You can't change that in the last game of the year, potentially the last game of the year. And I guess he did that because Bright injury and Busquets not being the healthiest because of an illness, but changing things like that.
Peter, with Rojas. Remember, in the beginning of the game, I was like, "Oh,
you were not happy with him."
I was not happy with him putting Rojas. Yes, Rojas made one of the goals, but otherwise, I would have put Taylor in. I was thankful that he put Taylor in towards the end, but as always, Tata puts him in too late, and Taylor's just more offensive, and we needed more offense, and I just don't think it was the right thing. We missed Bright in the back for sure. I mean,
yes.
He would have stopped a lot of these attacks that we got. We just don't have anybody else to. Redondo's supposed to be another guy that could hold it back, but I just think Bright's better. He just does a different. I think Redondo's more of a central midfielder, and Bright's better at containing in the back. He's more of a defensive midfielder.
Tank feels like Calendar should have saved 2 of the goals, especially the third one, best twice to his first post, just awful the last 2 games. Go watch the highlights. I just didn't agree. I have watched the highlights. And I was there. I just don't agree with you. I like Calendar. I don't. It's if you're looking at who was on the field, the better goalkeepers, it was definitely Guzan. There's no question about that. He was definitely the better goalkeeper. I was happy here. Tank is crapping on another one of my favorite players. I have a theme in my verbiage today. Kremoski was awful for 1.5 games. He shouldn't have started. They were putting Kremoski into more of a defensive position that he's not the best at. He didn't have the best game for sure. I agree. He
wasn't that good. Yeah, and I agree also. Yeah, he didn't have a good game. I remember you telling me what the hell is what is Kremoski playing? I didn't know it either. He was playing more of a defensive role.
Yeah, he was playing more. He was playing deeper.
Yeah,
he was playing more of that Bright role. I think that's the way I read it.
Right. Well, we were also missing Busquets, who was sick, and he put him towards the end. But I just, it was one of those games that he shouldn't have experimented so much. Well, I don't know if he had enough players too. So,
the funny thing is I was reading a lot of comments today and on Twitter, and you got people saying that they want they think that we would have been better with Phil Neville. That Phil Neville could have done a better job than Tata. I would be very curious to see if they do get rid of him. I don't see it. Hey, Jim Curtin's available. Philadelphia Union head coach. They won't go with him. He doesn't have an international resume. Yeah. But
Messi probably won't. It probably communication problems there with Messi.
Yeah, I thought Jim Curtin could be in contention for the Atlanta position, but to be honest, their interim head coach has earned a chance to be the real head coach next year.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
To get past Orlando.
Oh yeah, exactly. But still, I mean, for what he's done right now, he deserves a chance to start the season as the head coach. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs agrees he doesn't see them getting rid of Tata. I don't either.
I don't think so.
Sergio is saying, how can we improve the squad at this point to bring new players in? We need to ship others out. Yeah. And trust, I don't know if we want to go too deep in who needs to stay and who needs to go. We could do that a little bit, but I mean, we've got a whole offseason to talk about that because people are definitely going to have to go. And because if you want new blood, we're capped out. We need to get more people in here. Hey, why don't we go to some voicemails?
For your voicemails. Hello.
Oh man, I'm holding things back, Ed.
You need to go.
Peter and Uncle Ed and all the great fans, Don Bear, Don Roberto, everybody that participates every week. Well, thank you guys. It was a fun year, and as a diehard Fusion fan, we know all about losing in the playoffs. Our Fusion actually went a lot further and technically was a more dynamic team because it was balanced, had 11 players. Of course, I'm very partial. But anyway, so they have to regroup for next year. But Brad Guzan is amazing. Stood on his head. He's played so long that Mike Diego Cerna 17 was playing against him, and he knows the frustration of trying to score on that guy. He's just an amazing keeper. Defense and keepers is what wins championships in all sports. So let's stay together, stay strong, regroup, replenish, and see what they do next year. Love you guys. Love the show. Peace out.
All right. She put in 2, but I'm going to just go with I think the second one is just mentioning. All right. I'll play it. It's short.
PS. I always have a PS. Forgot to say Italia wrote 1 goal, and I'm glad we had the supporter shield. That was a really big, nice achievement, and I'm so glad that you guys got to celebrate that on the field. Love you guys. Peace out.
It's a great achievement that nobody gives any respect to, right? At the end of the day, it's like everybody says, the trophy that counts the most is the one that gives you the star, right?
Right.
You need a star, so.
Unless they make the the World Cup an option every year, for whoever wins the supporter shield.
Yeah, we got special treatment for that one.
We're special.
Jay Vasquez saying Gressel should have started in place of Kremonski, and Campana should have been brought in sooner when it was evident Suarez was going to be a non-factor. I think Gressel probably made more sense than Kremonski. We won a lot of. I mean, look, Gressel isn't our favorite player, but we won a lot of games with Gressel and on the field. So he does a lot of things that you may not get, accolades for. To me, Suarez was one of the few out there that was trying his best every game. He was trying to use every trick, faking injuries, all kinds of stuff. He was giving it his all. I wanted Campana in there earlier for sure, but at least Campana came in pretty early for Tata. Let's put it that way. For Tata, it was pretty early.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, just but I felt like he was uncomfortable up there because Suarez, he takes up that number 9 position. He didn't open up. He just stayed up there, as the last guy. And you would see Campana everywhere, basically. You would just, up, down, all over the place. He was playing
I'm going to yell at Don Roberto for a second because he's loving to throw me under the bus saying, relax, we are in first place. Whatever. Yeah, overreaction. When you are in first place and things are going well, chill out. Everybody's like yelling to fire the coach in the middle of the season. Fire all these things that are never going to happen. They're not going to happen when you're in first place. So just chill out. And did it go our way at the end? No. But that doesn't change the fact that we were in first place and y'all needed to relax a little bit. Now, let's see if in the offseason they can address the defense. But here, we're going to go to more voicemails, but I wonder, and this goes back to the Tata thing and the defense. I will agree we definitely need to improve our defense. But how much is it the defenders and how much is it the tactics? We push up so much. Our defenders are so pushed up and that, you put a speedy attacker on the other side with a nice through ball or, over the top type ball, and you're beating that defense every single time. You've got to have a really fast defense to play that way. So in that regard, I would say it's more tactics based on the fact that we don't have that speedy defense. And look, Avilés did pretty good on one play that he ran back on and got just enough to break it up. And he was clearly the slower player of the two. So, here, Don Roberto saying, we're talking about the defense in context. Yeah, still, relax. In the middle of the season, you're not, or we're probably talking about this, near the end of the season, when we're in first place. Well, we're in first place most of the season. Anyways, But yeah, relax, chill out. I'm just
Did
not,
we ever go down?
I can't, I'll this straight up. I cannot stand negativity. And Don Roberto, you are pretty negative. And I can't stand negativity. So I'm going to tell you to relax. I'm a positive person, and we probably just don't agree and see things eye to eye. And that's okay. Here, let's go to another voicemail.
There's a lot more negativity there. Carter's also on Don Roberto's side, I see.
That's fine. A lot of people like to be negative, and today is your chance to be negative. I get, it wasn't a fun way to end the season, but at the end of the day, go complain to somebody else.
What's up, mi gente? It's your boy Yankee Yank. Look, there's a lot to unpack. First off, my sincere condolences for your loss. The reality is normally I don't support super teams. I like to see teams that are supposed to win lose. But y'all are family, so there is I get no enjoyment from the disappointment, frustration, and disillusionment that y'all are going through. It was an incredibly exciting game as a neutral to watch. As upset as you all are, and you have every right to be upset, Apple TV, MLS, and a bunch of other entities are really, really upset too, because we talked about it. We knew that Atlanta could take your team down, but that wasn't the way the script was supposed to go. PB had mentioned how great Brad Guzan could be in goal, and he looked like he found the fountain of youth again. I mean, after that performance, I could say that Guzan should be back considered one of the top 3 for the U.S., and that Pochettino maybe needs to call him in again, even as old as he is. So the only good thing I can say is in a very congested year coming up next year where the money grubbers are going to run the players into the ground, maybe your players can get a little bit more rest, and maybe they can go further next year. But, yeah, this is going to hurt, and it's supposed to hurt, and I'll holler at you later, players.
All right, good to hear from Yankee Boy. People are still mad at me now that I'm yelling at Don Roberto. Kata saying, you hate Don Roberto now? LOL. No, I love Don Roberto, but I like yelling at him. It's fun. It's fun to yell at him. And now he's like, can you handle constructive critique? Yeah, I just don't agree with you, but that's okay. Don't take things personal. Like, look, I yelled at Esteban all last week, and we had a good time yesterday. So don't take things so personal.
Look at that. Guzan is apparently he's been retired from the national team already. So I don't think he's going back.
No, yeah.
And he'll retire this year. So he might be another, what's the other player that's retiring as well? The Atlanta player?
Dax McCarty. It took me a second.
Dax. Yeah, he's. I was saying the whole game, come on, guys, we need to retire Dax already, and it didn't happen. So disappointed. I wanted to see Dax retired, but Guzan might go too. So interesting.
All right, another voicemail, but somebody that wants to gloat. Maybe I haven't listened. I haven't listened to this ahead, but I got a feeling he might want to gloat a little bit.
Hey, what's up, Pete? Uncle Ed. This is New Wiser from Atlanta calling. Hey, it was a hard-fought match. Great win for me, obviously.
Yes.
Pretty hard to say it, but I really think it was a bad idea to have 2 players cover up the entire salary budget. And that's pretty much what led to your downfall. If I was in Miami, I would consider just trying to restructure these deals, because if you guys want to be able to win this competition's MLS Cup, you're going to have to find a way to get more talent around it, especially in the defense. I feel bad for Callender because Callender was only doing what he can do, but obviously it wasn't enough. have a good off season.
Well, good luck to Atlanta now, at least, because we want Atlanta to beat Orlando at the very least at this point.
We don't want Orlando to keep going. So, yes, Atlanta, do your thing anew. Hopefully, you guys will continue on. Do the what's it called, Cinderella thing.
Yeah, do the Cinderella thing. Like the band from the '80s. Yeah,
we got to do a karaoke. I was telling Peter we got to do a karaoke thing because he loves all those heavy metal bands. I'd love to see Peter doing some of those.
Yeesh.
I'll get a wig for.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs, rooting for Atlanta now because F Orlando. Yeah, that's what we're saying basically.
That's his word.
But yeah, the point about Anu saying restructuring some of these deals. I don't know how much restructuring you can do other than trying to convince people to take less money. The only thing you could do really is get rid of people to make space, and then try to get better defenders.
Kristoff is probably gone. His contract,
and he makes what?
He makes
It makes like $500,000-$600,000. I forgot the exact number, but it's a healthy amount. To not play. He wasn't even on the bench, so he must be hurt or something. I don't know how much restructuring. Like I said, and to be honest, we're criticizing this team, but this is one of the deepest teams in the league. I mean, when you look at like Campana would be a starter on half the teams in this league. I forget who else we were talking about. Taylor can't get on the field this year. Barely plays. He's a starter, a star player for a lot of teams in this league.
Right.
So, it is a very deep team. Maybe not on the defense, but, it's not for lack of trying. I mean, they've tried. They brought in Frede. They brought in Martinez. They had hopes for Avilés because, that's a young prospect. So, I mean, it's not for a lack of trying, but, you imagine, they need to put it, if they're going to play such a high attacking, thing, they need to, get some speed in the back.
Yeah. And Toto just wasn't doing it. Avilés is just, yeah, he had some good moments, but it wasn't enough. He actually fell in they were talking about how he was on the ground for that last goal.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know if they should have stopped the game for that. I didn't see that part too well, to tell you the truth. But,
it happened on our end too, where, there was an Atlanta player down and they kept playing. You don't see the ball getting kicked out as much as it used to, that whole gentlemanly thing. You don't see that quite as much as you used to. So,
yeah.
All right. More voicemails. We've got a lot. They're still coming in.
Hey, Peter and Uncle Ed. This is Kevin Gonzalez calling from up in Palm Beach County. Hope that everything is well with you guys, and thanks for a great show, as you guys always do. I've been a supporter of Inter Miami since the very beginning. I was part of the Southern Legion to help us get a team back here, and I was proud to be part of the inaugural game that we had in Los Angeles at LAFC back in 2020. What happened last night was an absolute disgrace, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the biggest embarrassment in the history of South Florida sports.
Wow.
As much as I love Inter Miami, I can honestly say that I'm ashamed to be a fan of this club today, because with the amount of money, with the millions and millions of dollars that we had in payroll for what happened last night was an absolute embarrassment. All respect to Atlanta United and to their fans. And New Weissman, congratulations. I know that this is your day to celebrate, but Atlanta United should not have been on the same field with Inter Miami. They're a good team. But in terms of talent, there's no exception. I understand that the MLS Cup playoffs are funny. I understand that things like this happen. But for Inter Miami to win the first game and blow the next two games and go out the way that they did against a team, with all due respect, that not only had to win on the final day, against Orlando City, but who needed 3 other outcomes to go their way just to even qualify for the wild card round of the playoffs. Kudos to Atlanta United. They deserve to win this game, but what happened to Inter Miami last night, it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to soccer here in South Florida. It's an embarrassment to the supporters here in South Florida, and it's an embarrassment to South Florida sports, and there's nothing that we can be happy about. This is going to take a long time for a whole bunch of us to get over, and as far as I'm concerned, everybody, from the players to the coaches to the ownership, they all have to look at themselves in the mirror, and they have to ask themselves one simple question. Why? Why was this allowed to happen? Totally unacceptable, totally uncalled for, and it's just a sad day here in South Florida, and I'm sad that it's come to this. I could understand us losing in one of the future rounds, but not like this in the first round. It's not acceptable. Anyways, I'm about to get on a plane, so hope that you guys are all doing well. Let's recover from this, and let's see what we can do next year going forward. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. And Kata's having some fun with the negativity comment that you said, I don't like negativity. I understand there's going to be negativity in this. I like productive, negativity, I guess. But people being upset that, we lost is understandable. And it is an embarrassment to go out in the first round. But are you guys embarrassed to wear Inter Miami merchandise now that your team kind of failed? I'm not.
No, we still got Messi, man. No,
I'm not.
we just need to revamp that defense. I think everything else we're good, and I think we can take the everything next time. But yeah, we need a better defense so our offense could be doing their thing. That was the only, I think, the biggest problem we have, and maybe Tata just not being as aggressive as I think he should be.
Here, Tank taking my positivity, trying to take a negative and turn it positive. Never embarrassed. This was our best year, which is true.
Best year ever.
Best year ever for this team.
Yeah, best team ever for this team, and best team maybe ever for Major League Soccer, except we didn't win the main trophy.
It would be the second time that kind of thing happened. A lot of people consider players the last year of the Miami Fusion to be the best MLS team. You talk to those players. You talk to Jim Rooney, Chris Henderson. You talk to those guys, and they will to Ian Bishop, and they will tell you that team could beat anybody in today's MLS. They feel like that version of was the best ever, and did not win, the cup either. So it's kind of like we've been here before.
Yes, we have. But they got farther than this team with the best player in the world.
Yeah. All right. More voicemails. We're running out of time, and I got to run. But they're still coming.
Guys, name is James. I've been watching the show, and this is a tough pill to swallow. I mean, out in the first round. I mean, this has to be a huge. No, this is a disappointment. This is one of the biggest disappointments in MLS. It has to be, and I mean, we blew it. Honestly, this was we pretty much we beat ourselves pretty much. Like we letting Atlanta get back into the series. I feel like cost us a bit. It cost us a lot, and some of the coaching was just questionable, but. Yeah, I mean, still tough pill to swallow, and it's over. Season's over. Miami's out of the playoffs. So, just have to try again next season. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, thanks, James. Yeah, a lot of the same. It's tough pill to swallow. Everybody's feeling the same. All right, let's keep going.
Kata's saying, with the little pictures, emoji pictures, I think something's calling you. That's why you want to leave so soon.
Uh-huh.
Yo, what's up, guys? My name is David. This sucks. This sucks. Yeah, but, for what the hell is the point of this whole 3-game stuff anyway? If you ask me, every game should have just been 1 game to begin with, but whatever. I mean, well, congratulations, Apple TV. You wanted the 2 more games, and at what cost? Messi's out of the playoffs. So you made your bed, now lying in Apple TV.
Good point.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure we're all frustrated that we're out of the playoffs, but nothing you can do now. I mean, we go at it again next season. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the real loser in this, and we were talking about this before the show started, me and Ed, that the real loser, is Apple TV and MLS. The fact that, so yeah, he's got a point. Apple TV wanted those extra games. They wanted more content, but they want Messi more than that. Messi, they're going to see their numbers drop considerably with Messi out of the playoffs.
I said it right, before.
Yeah.
They made the mistake. We would have advanced with the first game, and we would have played Orlando next. But no, they want 3 games, and there you get it.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't played well really against Atlanta all year. I have it here. We lost 3-1 at home earlier in the year. Then there was a 2-2 tie. Then we won 2-1. Then we lost 2-1, and now we lost 2-3, or 3-2, whichever way you want to look at it. But so they had our number all year. So we would have much preferred if Montreal had won that series. I think we would have done better.
Yeah.
All right, more voicemails here, and I love the fact that. We're getting some new callers. I mean, lots of new people in this. That everybody's miserable, and then I might have pissed people off with my positivity. So those combinations. Part of the reason I think I don't get as upset about losses, like, of course I wanted to win, but in all honesty, I can't think. I haven't really supported very many winners, Ed. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Most of the teams,
we're used to losing.
I'm used to losing. I mean, whether it be my childhood with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, because this was the downtime of the Strikers. Then Miami FC, they weren't any good. Then they became the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and they weren't really that great. They did have one season that was pretty good. Dolphins have been bad most of my life. It's just the teams that I support generally. Maybe I'm the problem. I don't know.
Good evening, familia. This is Esteban Dido. Peter, Ed, it was nice meeting you yesterday. It was very entertaining, laughing. I mean, even though the final was not what we wanted, it was nice meeting you all again, and just talking some football topic, some out of football topic, which already did in the show. But anyways, first time that I call into the show, I want to break the monopoly that's going on. So I hope my my voicemail gets played. And again, it's very entertaining being part of the show. So let's go Futbol Miami TV.
All right. Thank you, Esteban Dito. It was fun hanging out with him last night. Talk about some positive energy. He had some positive energy. He comes across sometimes a little critical in this chat, but he had some very good positive energy last night. I mean, not happy about a loss, but just, overall fun guy to hang out with. Ash Preetam brings up a good point here in that, why are fans expecting anything better next season? We set the points record, won Supporters Shield, but couldn't make past the first round with the best roster in MLS history. How much better do you expect it to get? I think is the way I read that. We want the defense to get better, but they had the best team in the history of MLS. It just, things didn't go our way against one team. I think I don't know. I'm curious. Would everybody's be so down if we got bounced out in the next round? I think the embarrassment. I had said before in a previous shows that if we did not win MLS Cup, Some people said it's a failure. I don't agree. It's not a failure if we don't win MLS Cup. But if we don't get out of the first round, then it definitely is a failure. I mentioned that previously. But I'm curious, would people be so down and out if we had gotten bounced in the next round? Because they, in general, everybody wants to win it all, of course.
Of course. I think if as long as we fix the defense, we could remain with most of the same players and still make it to the playoffs. Maybe even still in first place, but hopefully we'll have better luck. But we'll see. I mean, it doesn't help that Messi's out most of the time because of World Cup qualifiers and all that crap. It doesn't help. Let's just cross our fingers that Chris Henderson, if he does stay, he can work some magic and get us some defenders, and I think we'll be good.
Yeah. All right. One last voicemail. Very short voicemail. I've never seen one this short.
Hello, my name is Atlas Florizard. I was so pissed off. Inter Miami lost against Atlanta United. Atlanta United eliminated Inter Miami. Like, what?
Okay. That was it. I didn't quite understand it, but he's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that matters. Not happy. Not happy with the, and I understand. Here, Don Roberto, I'll be happy if you pass the first round. So to him, it would not be a failure if we at least made it past the first round. But, it didn't happen. So now we just need to move onwards. And we over time, I think everybody should take some homework for the next future shows and just start looking at the roster and look at it with an MLS mind. Don't look at it with the idea that, we could buy any player in the world and bring them here. Understand the restrictions that we have within this league. Look at this roster. And I think it'd be fun if we all kind of come back maybe next week or the week after with kind of the list of cuts. Like who we cutting? And I'm not expecting you to say who's coming in because, man, the talent pool is so big in this world. More than likely, they're going to pick up some player you never even thought of. That's just the reality of it. Nobody ever thought of half the players that we have. They just, But who do you think should go? Because you can't, and realistically, because you can't gut half the team. I mean, I guess you could, but they're not going to. Again, best club in the history, and part of the. I went on a rant a little bit last week because somebody was complaining about some of our young players and those young, and like I mentioned last week, I don't know if you listened yet, Ed, but because those young players are cheap is why we can afford the better players. So you got making your cuts with like a realistic mind. Like, okay, Kristoff makes sense. So somebody like Tank is probably going to say Calendar, but then realistically, who are you going to put in his place? You're not signing a DP, So that's one that I told you don't think. In my opinion, you shouldn't think about who's replacing. You can think about who's replacing, but the goalkeeper is one you definitely got to think. Like if you're getting rid of him or moving him to the bench, who are you bringing in that's better than him? That's expensive, and they don't have that. They're not going to have that kind of money. So anyways, it'll be fun to talk about in future shows. Realistically, who gets cut?
Well, we definitely have time now
to
break that roster down. And I think, since we got no games to talk about, we're probably going to start having some guests from Inter Miami and elsewhere. So, we're still going to be interesting until the end of this year. We might take a few weeks off in the beginning of the year, end of the year, and then we'll come back, for preseason. So we'll still be around, guys. And in Spanish, we're going to have the show tomorrow, Peter Brown, in Espanol with Don Bear. I got confused because Don Bear with El Oso Donoso. We're going to have that show. So look forward to talking about this again in Espanol tomorrow. Check us out.
All right. Good stuff. I'm going to go clean out my colon.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to go clean out my colon right now, folks. Little TMI, I'm sure. But if you made it here to the end, You know,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like you
It
might
was
want to know.
Talk about crapshoots. Yeah, Peter's got to go do his own crapshoot now, and yeah.
But
Well,
and I apologize if I yelled at you today. I apologize to Don Roberto. I love everybody that's a part of this show, even if I disagree with you. And part of the fun for me on this show is yelling at people. And so thank you for giving me someone to yell at. And I apologize if I offended anybody. I love you all. Thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you guys next week. News channel sponsor Colon Blow.
There you go.
All right, thanks everybody. See you next week.